Thank you very much. And we now proceed to Congressman Brad Schneider of Illinois. And of course, it's really easy to get confused between Gabe Amo and Brad Schneider. They both come from assorted northern states, Rhode Island and now Illinois.
Thank you, Chairman Wilson. And no good deed going unpunished. Gabe asked the question I wanted to ask, and thank you for your answer. I'm going to build on that. You know, in your written testimony, you concluded that the Pakistani people deserve a country that is peaceful, democratic, and prosperous, quotes. And we just talked a little bit about what the United States can do, but let me just say here that a peaceful, democratic, and prosperous Pakistan is not just important to the Pakistanis, it's in the interest of the United States as well. And that's why we're having this hearing, and I thank the chairman for calling it. And we're addressing what has been discussed, very real concerns about the election, but also recognizing, as you noted in your testimony, the positive elements seen in the election and how we build upon them. And I hope we continue those conversations. I want to shift gears a little bit and touch on Afghan deportations, though. I share, with others, the deep concern of these mass deportations of undocumented Afghans back to Afghanistan, where they're going to live in horrible humanitarian conditions under the Taliban. Human Rights Watch claims that Pakistani authorities have committed widespread abuses against Afghans living in Pakistan to compel their return to Afghanistan, including by confiscating property, destroying documents, and physically abusing individuals. Has the U.S. raised these concerns with the government at all, and how is the U.S. working with the international community to push back against this policy?
Thank you, sir. We have had discussions with the Pakistani government at the highest levels about these deportations. As you know, as has been well documented, over 500,000 Afghans have returned to Afghanistan following this effort by the Pakistani government to remove illegal foreigners. From the first day of that process, we have been in touch with the Pakistani government, both about the humanitarian consequences of this mass deportation, but also to try to protect those Afghans who have a pathway to coming to the United States. There are thousands of Afghans who worked with us, who worked with our embassy or our military, who have fled to Pakistan and sought sanctuary there. We have been very keen that those Afghans are allowed to stay so we can process them.
And they're still in processing.
And they are. And the Pakistani government has actually, on this one issue, been very supportive. We are grateful for that. On the broader issue, we are talking with the new government now about trying to make sure that the rights of Afghan refugees are respected. We are thankful, right? The Pakistani people have hosted over 3 million Afghan refugees now for over 40 years. It is historic in proportion. That sacrifice does not go unnoticed. At the same time, we very much hope they work with the UNHCR as they enter this next phase where they're trying to figure out whether more people are returning, whether some of those who have returned are able to come back to Pakistan, and that the needs of those refugees are being met.
Right. Thank you, and I've raised this previously with the ambassador, Pakistani ambassador as well, and look forward to working with you to make sure that happens. I'll shift gears again. We touched on this. I'll pick up where Mr. Lawler left off. Pakistan-Iranian relations. You mentioned the escalation, the recent escalatory environment, the strikes in January. Where do you see that moving? Do you think the strikes were one-off occurrences or something that could continue to escalate in the future?
Sir, as you know, the strikes were not only against Pakistan, they were against 3 countries simultaneously by Iran. It is reprehensible and irresponsible for Iran to lash out against its neighbors for terrorism that exists in Iran itself. So as you may be tracking, those 3 missile and drone strikes that happened in January followed a really terrible terrorist attack that occurred within Iran. And the government of Iran clearly felt like it had to respond in some way. They responded in the worst way possible by firing missiles at targets that they probably didn't well understand, which, for our information, ended up killing lots of civilians in 3 countries, including in Pakistan.
And with my last-
we have strongly condemned Iran's actions.
My last few seconds, can you just touch on the U.S. messaging to the Pakistani government regarding their direct engagement with Tehran on security matters, especially in the context of our concerns, our mutual concerns of nuclear proliferation and Iran's nuclear program?
Sir, we have warned them about our red lines, legislative, but also in terms of how we cooperate with Pakistan. If they get into bed with Iran, it'll be very serious for our relationship.
Okay, we need to reiterate that again and again and again. With that, I yield back.
Thank you very much, Congressman Brad Schneider of Illinois. We now proceed